The horrific murder of ex-South African Minister Nathi Mthethwa has taken a profoundly disturbing and never-before-seen twist after recently discovered CCTV footage showed he was ambushed by three masked men outside a high-end Paris hotel hours before he was reported missing. The footage obtained by French police and partially leaked to international media outlets paints a chilling picture of what may have been Mthethwa's final moments alive. According to reports from Le Monde and other French publications, the footage captured by security cameras positioned near the entrance of Hotel Dupont, located in the prestigious 8th arrondissement of Paris, shows the former minister leaving the hotel shortly before midnight. Well dressed in a black suit with a thin leather briefcase in his hand, Mthethwa was unruffled and near introspective as he briefly waved to a member of the hotel staff before disappearing into the chill of the Parisian night. Within a span of less than 2 minutes, the night took a sudden dark turn. A black-tinted windshield Peugeot SUV drew up along the curb. Three men in black attire got out of the car, their caps low to cover their faces. The first man moved toward Mthethwa as if to greet him or ask something. Within seconds, things turned violent. The second man followed quickly while the third kept watch, scanning the street. In moments, Mthethwa was overpowered, pushed toward the waiting SUV, and thrust inside. The entire abduction took no more than 25 seconds. Then, like a well-rehearsed drill, the SUV sped off into the narrow streets of central Paris before anyone nearby could react. The hotel concierge was the first to raise the alarm, according to police reports, after noticing the last few seconds of the kidnapping. Yet, when officers reached the scene, both the attackers and the car had vanished. Hours later, the same black SUV was found abandoned on the outskirts of Paris near Saint-Denis, a neighborhood known for its labyrinthine industrial alleys. Inside the car, investigators discovered blood stains, a smashed wristwatch, and a torn shirt cuff consistent with the one Mthethwa was reportedly wearing hours earlier. French forensic experts are currently examining DNA samples to verify if the blood belongs to the deceased minister, though initial results are said to be pointing in that direction. Sources familiar with the probe indicated that Mthethwa had traveled to Paris 3 days prior under the guise of a personal business trip. However, several insiders assert that his visit was far from routine. Indications are that he had arranged a meeting with a South African businessman under investigation for corruption linked to multi-million rand deals during his tenure. Intelligence officials now believe that Mthethwa may have been carrying sensitive documents tied to those investigations, documents that could have exposed high-ranking political figures both within South Africa and abroad. An anonymous senior ANC source told Mail and Guardian International that whispers within party ranks suggested Mthethwa possessed information capable of implicating several top officials. If what he was carrying was as explosive as some think, then his murder was no accident, the source said grimly. It was a message and a warning to anyone who might consider coming forward. French authorities are now collaborating closely with Interpol and South African intelligence agencies in an international hunt for the three suspects. They are analyzing CCTV footage from nearby streets and traffic cameras to track the SUV's movements amid speculation that the men may have entered France using forged passports and fictitious identities. Back home in South Africa, the news has sent shockwaves through the political elite. The presidency has yet to issue an official response, but sources close to President Cyril Ramaphosa say he is deeply disturbed by the revelations. ANC top officials reportedly convened an emergency closed-door meeting in Johannesburg soon after the video surfaced. The meeting, described by participants as tense and emotional, centered on concerns that Mthethwa's death could expose internal conflict and struggles for influence within the party. Some officials privately expressed fears that the probe might reveal a vast web of corruption linking government ministries and private corporations, a network many had hoped would remain buried. Meanwhile, the South African public has reacted with outrage, grief, and suspicion. Social media has erupted with demands for justice, transparency, and accountability. Citizens are calling on both the French and South African governments to ensure that no aspect of the investigation is concealed. The leaked video has ignited intense national debate about political killings, foreign interference, and the alleged culture of impunity among South Africa's political class. Among the most vocal was EFF leader Julius Malema, who vented on social media late Monday evening, saying, "If these reports are true, this was not robbery, this was an execution. There was someone who wanted Mthethwa dead, and they made sure it happened far from home." Malema's remark further fueled public speculation that the murder was politically motivated, possibly linked to long-standing factionalism within the ANC. Mthethwa's family has been left in a state of shock and grief. His wife, who reportedly spoke to him on the phone just hours before the kidnapping, said he sounded nervous but determined. Through sobs, she told reporters he had said there were things he had to put right, and that people back home would soon know the truth. Lawyers for the family have since demanded an independent international investigation, fearing that the official probe might be tainted or politicized. As French investigators work to piece together the timeline of Mthethwa's final hours, fundamental questions remain unanswered. Who were the three men on the security cameras? Were they contract killers, intelligence agents, or operatives for a larger organization? And above all, what did Mthethwa know that made him a target? Authorities say more surveillance video from nearby cafes, ATMs, and metro stations is being reviewed, and facial recognition software is being deployed to identify any potential matches in international databases. Diplomatic negotiations between Pretoria and Paris are underway, with both governments pledging full cooperation. French authorities have designated the case a high-priority international incident, while South African diplomats have demanded frequent updates and assurances that every lead will be explored. Interpol has issued a worldwide notice to European police forces to remain alert for the suspects or anyone connected to the vehicle's registration. Political commentators warn that if it is confirmed that Mthethwa's killing was politically motivated, the repercussions could be disastrous for South Africa's global image. The case has already strained relations with major allies and may spark diplomatic fallout if links to government officials or state contractors are uncovered. If Mthethwa was silenced for what he knew, said one European analyst, it suggests the rot runs much deeper than anyone imagined. The developing investigation now carries all the hallmarks of a political thriller, a tale of intrigue, secrecy, and high-level betrayal. Each new revelation strengthens the impression that this was not a random act of violence but a calculated operation designed to eliminate a potential whistleblower. International reporters have begun comparing Mthethwa's death to other unsolved political assassinations in Africa and Europe, where corruption, espionage, and economic crimes often intertwine. For many ordinary South Africans, the tragedy has come to symbolize something greater, the fight for truth in institutions too often tuned to silence it. Candlelight vigils have been held in Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town, where citizens gathered to call for justice and remember Mthethwa's life. "He may have erred," one speaker said at the vigil, "but no one should have had to die in search of the truth." As the inquiry continues under global public scrutiny, one chilling reality is clear: Nathi Mthethwa's murder is no longer just a mystery, it is a warning. A warning about the deadly intersection of power, corruption, and silence. Until the full truth emerges and those responsible are brought to justice, questions about his last night in Paris will continue to haunt South Africa, its politics, its people, and the very halls of power that may have conspired to kill him.